Well, well, well. Looks like Raheem Sterling finally stood up for himself. He finally stood up for himself. Basically, there was footage of Raheem Sterling facing the most disgusting racism from some old, nasty, horrible men in the football pitch. It was live on TV and everybody could it was live on TV and everybody could see what they said. And he put out a statement saying the nasty racist British press, such as the Daily Mail, are responsible for turning him into a hate figure. Just the other day, they reported that Raheem Sterling bought a house for his mum, and another black footballer bought a house for his wife, his mum or something. They are such a or something. They are such a bunch of haters. The press has always viewed black footballers really badly. They were racist. They would turn them into national figures. They were basically like slaves with money. That's what the black footballers are. There's absolutely no diversity. They have to put up with racism. There's no like promotion. They can't even be coaches. And it's almost like a mini slave ship with the football soccer, as you call it in America. But it's just so disgusting, and you would see such self-hating practices from the black footballers, such as basically they want they would only date white women because the press would insult them if they dated somebody from their own race. So yeah, the black footballers were really treated really badly in the UK. So you never ever saw any of them with black women. And the only person who started dating, actually, the African players would date black women, but they never made it on the newspapers. So these black footballers are treated like props, basically. They are heroes, they score goals, but they're not allowed to have a political opinion. They can only date white, really like slutty women that hang around, the hotel rooms and things like that. They're basically, you know, seen as like a meal ticket by. And Raheem Sterling has a black girlfriend, he has a black child, and things are changing, with self love and all that. And the press absolutely hate him because he's decided to go out with somebody who's of his own race. And it's almost like, they don't want that generational wealth to benefit the black community. And that's why the newspapers such as The Sun and what's the other one, Daily Mail, absolutely can't stand Raheem Sterling because, there he is giving money to his mum and, you know, donating to charities that affect black people. And they hate him for that, and they're spreading malicious lies. And he finally stood up to them and said, this is why I'm getting racist abuse, because of you. And it's not a hidden fact. The British press, use use their power to turn on people, uh, usually black people, in the public eye as hate figures. Like, that's why, when you do see black people in the public eye, they're just scared because they know that they're going to face the British press, who's going to attack them and hound them and spread malicious lies and turn the simpleton public against them. And Raheem Sterling stood up for himself. And finally, it's just showing that the black footballers have had enough. They're not going to be putting up with banana skin thrown at them and racist abuse. I think they need to go a bit more further and actually strike. The black footballers need to strike. They need to strike and hold up the FA Cup finals. All the black players in the Premiership in the UK need to strike for better treatment, better conditions, less racism. So they need to actually stand together and strike. What is wrong with them? They need to. Okay, you're getting all this money, but come on, what about your soul? Stand up for yourself. Don't just be taken for a ride. If black women wouldn't put up with that nonsense that they put up, black woman would literally go on the stand and beat the crap out of whoever called her that name. What is wrong with them? Why are they so weak? You know, Raheem Sterling's the only one that's finally defended himself. Those disgraceful ones like Ian Wright and what's the other one? Don't get me wrong, he's a legend, but him, and what's the other? Oh my God, he's such a pushover. I mean, the guy decided to finally talk about racism like now in 2018. He's a proper, what was his name? Um, oh my God, he even had a rubbish song out back in the 80s. But him, he, oh my God, I forgot his name. Something something. Anyway, he used to play for England. This man even admitted now, how, because now, because of all the Me Too era and all that, oh yeah, there was a lot of racism. You've retired. You've retired. You've been smiling the whole through the 80s and 90s, and now you're coming out with, yes, they were racist to me, like 30 years later. Where were you when it was happening to you in the first place? And even Ian Wright, he's all coming out with all, oh, there were terrible times. You put up with it. You didn't stand up for yourself. You've just been stupid the whole all those years. But now times have changed, and these footballers need to stand up for themselves. The other one was Ashley Cole, who was treated absolutely like shit. There would be times when like he had to have his mum, defend him, his white mum. She'd come out on in the newspaper and say, leave my son alone. But he put up with so much rubbish, and he didn't stand up for himself. So good on Raheem Sterling for actually standing up for himself. But they need to do a lot more. You guys need to uh, strike. Do you know what striking is? The French people over there across the English Channel, all they do is strike. If you do something, little thing to their, smoking ban, reduce their pay, they're always striking. So you lot need to strike, and you have a reason to strike because you're treated like shit. You're treated like absolute shit by the Premiership, and you're hardly given any news coverage. There's, white men talking about how rubbish you are and how badly you're playing, and you're just putting up with a lot of crap. Get some balls and strike, for God's sake. The African Americans are kneeling down on one knee and whatnot. Why can't you all do that? Why are you all so scared for? Fair enough, you're good at football and you can kick a ball and whatnot, but where's your dignity? They're calling you names, they're insulting you. You should be angry, you should be striking, and you should be refusing these people. What do you think is going to happen if you refuse to play for their games unless you get respect? Do you think the fans are going to go and murder you? You can't listen. They can't do that. They need to respect you. Okay, there won't be no football. There wouldn't be any crappy football if you lot don't play football. So you guys hold the ball's on your corner and you're just putting up with shit. How many times can you put up with shit for? you know you won't dare see that happen to any black girl. Any black girl that anyone insulted like that in the UK, that anyone that, put out a newspaper and called you names on the stand, trust me, will climb over the fence and beat the shit out of them. There's no way that that would happen. But Raheem Sterling, the coward, well, actually, he's not a coward. He's finally standing up for himself. Um, all the others have been putting up with all that nonsense, all that spitting. Are you kidding me? Like, are you spitting on the pitch? Are you spitting? Because if that happened to any black girl, guaranteed the football would be, stamped on, the goalpost will be destroyed and flattened. Okay, there would be no football. But you lot are putting up with too much shit. You're doing too much swirling just to look like, you fit in, look, we're on your side, we've got a white girlfriend. Like, just awful. They're just so awful. The UK footballers are such sellouts. I understand, look, they put you in a contract, like you're like tied down, but come on, how long can you keep doing that for? The whole world is like protesting, and the NFL and whatnot, even they're standing up for themselves, and you're just there, you know, acting like the way that it was in the 80s. Just enough is enough, okay? The press can't be writing nasty articles about you. You need to go to their office and tell them to the F up. Seriously. Because it is his damn money what he does with it. He can buy his mum a house. And thank God he bought his mum a house, yeah? Thank God. Because without his mum, there wouldn't be no football team. There wouldn't be no Raheem Sterling without his mum. So you lot need to be appreciative, okay? He plays for England, okay? The reason why England lose every year is because you treat your black players like shit. Okay, you treat them like complete shit and they have no confidence. They can't even score a bloody goal. If you go to France, look at them. Look at them all scoring goals. Macron is over the moon, jumping on tables, kissing his friends. I mean, his teammate, the club, doing the dab. Do you see any England footballer doing that? No. Does he do the dab? No, he doesn't. Does he do the Harlem Shake or whatever it is? No, because he doesn't give a shit about you, the black players of England. They don't give a shit. You are slaves. All you're there to do is score. And when you score, they don't even give you credit. They always say the white person that passed the ball to you, without that, then there wouldn't have been a goal. And if you over celebrate, then they'll call you cocky and they'll also write nasty articles about you. So it's about time that you lot actually protest. You need to protest and, refuse to play their stupid game, unless they respect you, unless they, stop the hate, stop harassing your family members, like the mothers that bring you into this planet so that you can play this stupid game called football. I don't even like football. I think it's shit. Football's crap. So even if you strike, it'll be great for the general population because then we don't have to watch that crappy game. But anyway, that's how I feel about it. Just stand up for yourself, for God's sake. What do you think's going to happen? You know, you should know that, when you all stand up together, you are a mighty force, because then there'll be no more football, because half the team would be like disappearing, so they'll be begging you. Then they'll have to behave. But you should not have to put up with spitting and racism and bananas being thrown at you. Okay, that you should not have to, just because you get paid all that money, you shouldn't have to put up with that. Okay, what are you like? Did you sell your soul to the devil, that you have to accept all this nonsense just because you've got all this money? No, 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 no. There's such thing as pride, and you are a prideful people. You're black. You're the same race as Jesus and God, and you should not be putting up with that. You should stand your ground and literally, tell, what is it, Gary Lineker, to shut up. Okay, he's overplayed, and he shouldn't even be commentating on it. Shouldn't have a view on it unless you put someone on the panel to talk about what's going on with the black footballers in the UK. I'm just so fed up of their pushoverness and all these people from like 1999 and what is it, the 80s. John Barnes, that's it, I finally got his name. John Barnes is finally talking about the abuse now. This man, okay, has suffered so much racism. He was like the classic perfect minority, that put up with crap, that was smiling, released the most crappiest song, just to make people happy, and now he decides to talk about the abuse now. Really, John Barnes, where were you? You're a massive guy. You could have stood up for yourself. What's wrong with you? You're a massive, tall, muscly man. You could stand your ground then. You put a stop to it. But no, you were too busy trying to be the most model minority, the non-threatening black person that smiles all the time. And now you want to talk about it when the whole world has changed. Everything's Me Too. Everything is rights. It's obviously end of days and the Messiah's coming. So, when are you lot going to stand up and defend yourself, okay? And there's also this ongoing Brexit issue. So, the black players of the UK, you guys need to stand up for yourself. You're really irritating me because you have no voice. You're just signed to your contract, and you need to stand up for yourself. Raheem Sterling's just a little guy from an estate in London. He's a young lad. What has he done wrong? Why is he facing all this hate? It's just unnecessary. Just leave. He's playing the sport. He's winning goals for your crappy, ridiculous teams. You know, he's a brilliant player. He could be even better if you supported him. But honestly, you people need to support him. Without him, your club wouldn't be winning. And just because he gets all that money doesn't mean that you can treat him like shit. You guys aren't the devil, okay? Don't be telling him like, oh, because you get paid, then you can put up with being spat at. Why don't you get spat at then, you stupid tramps? Why don't you? How would you like it if someone spat at you and threw bananas and apple skins at you? It's not nice, is it? So as a football team, club members all over the UK, black players do need to have a union. You need a union. Do you even know what a union is? Oh my God, they don't even know what union is. They come from the ghetto. How are they supposed to know about union? They need a black footballers union. That's the first thing that they need, so they don't have to put up with the shit that's been thrown at them and the press that's just, treating them like shit. They need a black footballers union. And once they're in that union, they can then strike. Then they can say, look, we're not going to play if you're going to be rude to us. We're not going to play if the press is harassing us. So that the footballers can then go ahead and attack the press that is harassing them. Simple as. If the footballers turn on the press, then the press will be held accountable. And that's the only way that things will improve. Come on, black footballers. It's just basic common sense. Use it. Use your, grouply footballer common thing that you all have in common, to your advantage. And finally, you'll get the desired effect, the respect that you will get. Because right now, you're just a bunch of slaves, literally, with your slave masters doing whatever they want to you, and overpaid, pampered slaves, basically, that's what they are. And Sky is getting all that money watching you lot play. All these football games are, getting all this money from you, using you, but you're being abused behind the scene. You're actually, domestic violence victims in another way, if you know what I mean, where you're being used for money, but you're not being treated well. So, just have some dignity and stand up for yourself. Set up a black footballers union, black UK footballers union, so that you can lobby and stuff. And the TUC need to get their acts together and get them to have their own trade union. That is the only way, literally, because you're the ones that make the Premiership and the World Cup and things like that. So yeah, so that's just want to talk about Raheem Sterling finally standing up for himself, and Barnes 30 years later talking about racism now. He didn't even mention it the past 30 years ago. So yeah, anyway, I am Mr. Rena Star. I've been back for another vlog, and I'll be back again. Bye.